What it do, what it don't, what it will, what it won't. It's another Friday, so it's another opportunity to get together and record the experience known as the Ball Hawk Sports Talk, where sports, business, and entertainment collide. We do it one way and one way only. It is rough, rugged, and raw. That's right. We do it raw. We coming straight from the depths of authenticity and give you some raw sports business and entertainment. Today's episode is going by the title of The Cost of Freedom. That's right, The Cost of Freedom. You don't want to miss this on the heels of Juneteenth. Happy Juneteenth. I guess you'd say that. A lot of corporations are celebrating today by giving their employees off. Schools, school districts are celebrating. We're going to get into that as well on the other side of the intro. But with no further ado, boys and girls, cats and rats, dogs and frogs, anything, everything in between. Make sure that you pull up a nice, comfortable chair. Pour yourself a nice, tall mug of coffee. It's almost noon, so you can spike it with whatever you want. But most importantly, get ready for the Ball Hawk Sports Talk. With no further ado, let's go. Wake up, wake up, wake up, and stay woke. Because this is the Ball Hawk Sports Talk with your boy, B. Brown, ESQ, a.k.a. the Ball Hog, a.k.a. the Mouth of the South. This is the place where sports, business, and entertainment collide. And we're going to give it to you rough, rugged, and raw. So come get you a spoonful, like some grits with butter and salt. You know how we do it in the South, y'all. Make sure you do not get caught in your feelings. Strap on your seatbelt and enjoy the ride. Come on, let's go. Once again, it's on. Once again, it is on. I get the pleasure of being in front of this microphone with the man, the myth, the legend, thou who shall be intergalactically known and respected as. He's from the Middle Coast. So when you say it some respect, say it with some bass in your voice, or else he is the Big Flow Show. What's up, my brother?
Man, what's good? What's good? Just trying to live up to all those descriptions.
Oh, you got that, man.
You know,
you got that, man. You do what you do, man. From the Middle Coast, brother.
I just try to do a little something. You know what I'm saying?
You do, man.
I'm just trying to. I don't want to hurt nobody. I'm just trying to stay out of trouble. See what's going on, man.
I don't want to hurt nobody, but if compelled, I will. That's the cost.
I ain't a killer, but don't push me.
I ain't no killer, but don't push me. How was your Juneteenth? Before we hop in, yesterday was Juneteenth. I don't know if that's an appropriate way to ask that question or even the conversation itself, where it'll lead to, but I'm going to ask anyway. Yesterday was Juneteenth, June 19th. We'll get into the historical perspective of it real quickly, but before we do, how was your Juneteenth?
I tried to remain free. I didn't wear any drawers. I just walked around free all day. I
don't think that there's not an FCC that regulates podcasts, but that might be a violation. Too much information in terms of your undergarments, homeboy. We don't want that visual, dog. Come on, man.
I try to remain free, man. You know what? On the cusp of a 23-year wedding anniversary where I'm not free on Sunday, on Father's Day. Then I had a little freedom because my son graduated on Monday. So there's a lot that went on this week, a lot. And so Juneteenth was a well-needed holiday. I just walked around and worked out, did whatever the fuck I wanted to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so I hear you.
My wife didn't have the day off, so she had to do what she did. So I need to find some. I'll be honest. When we grew in the North, we was free first. So like we didn't. Texas was last and all that. So this was a holiday that I never heard of until as an adult. No one ever mentioned Juneteenth when we were in Illinois. You don't grow up here. I mean, we could have a whole show on what they didn't talk about in schools here, but I didn't know it was a holiday till I was an adult. So we don't have traditions. I think last year was the first year it was a national holiday. Maybe 2 years ago. Last year,
more than it was definitely not 2 years ago, but recently. Let's say in the last 10 years.
No, way more recent. Biden made it a national holiday, so way
It
more
was in
recent.
the last 4 years, but I think it
You
was
said 10
during his
years.
administration. So last 5 years,
We only
definitely.
had one term.
We
But
did.
go ahead.
But
Yeah.
it was
All right,
4 years. It was
we
the
split
last
hairs.
6 years
We split
before we.
hairs. So it became more popular. I started to understand it, but I don't have any traditions. I don't. We don't know. You know, I don't know what to do with the day. Do I find some place to be of service or whatever, or do I just act free? So I acted free. That's what I did. I acted free.
It was literally 4 years ago on June
I hope we remember.
17th, 2021, when you're right, then President Joe Biden
Yeah.
signed the Juneteenth National Independence Day Act into law, making it the 12th federal holiday and commemorating the end of slavery in the United States.
So you know what's random about it is most holidays, other than Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's, they're all usually like the certain Monday of the month, or this Monday, not really a date. You know, Mother's Day is a
Right.
Sunday, Father's Day is a Sunday. So it's kind of random to have just a Thursday off and then boom, Friday you're back, Wednesday. So it's
Well,
kind of
let's get into that. I think what you just described is sort of this frustration that we've seen in corporate America. You talked about you having the day off at your job and your wife just to focus on your household, but it was one that was shared in a lot of households did not have the day off. Her job did not acknowledge it. And because of its recency in terms of going and becoming the 12th federal holiday, there's this back and forth. And I guess when it comes to, we might as well get in. We know how we do with our show titles. The cost of freedom, from an employment standpoint, we're off that day. We're free. Some people.
yeah.
But the cost of freedom has come at the expense of some dialogue with a lot of professionals, adults, citizens that have had a debate about whether or not Juneteenth should even be recognized, whether or not it has legitimacy, whether or not we deserve a day off. And it has, like, there's been this really interesting cost of freedom of the day, with the conversation that is transpired related to said freedom. Shout out to my man Scott Bibb, called us two dads of the year. I'll take that.
I'll take that. I'll leave it up there too. We just leave that the whole show.
You know, I might not even say anything bad about his Cowboys after that statement. I appreciate that.
Let them ride. They
Here
ain't bothered
we are.
nobody in years.
Here we are on the cusp of this holiday in its 4th year being acknowledged as a national holiday. And it seems as though we're still at square one, or step one, when it comes to the understanding nationally about the importance of it, why it exists, what was the history behind it. If you ask 10 people, you get 10 different stories. Some people like you, like, I'm confused. What? In the South, there was more of an acknowledgement and celebration of Juneteenth, but it was like this thing that they did in Texas, and that was the only place that it had significance in terms of, you know, local significance in the state. But there are people who still knew about Juneteenth and its celebration and significance in respective states. In Florida, we knew about it. We talked about it. It wasn't a holiday, just like 49 other states. We just sort of talked about it in passing. So
I'm
here we are.
Trump didn't make it illegal to give us the day off on Juneteenth.
I don't know. And Scott Bibb says right after you know, his dad comment, he said it might be our last Juneteenth holiday. Damn. And I think he's alluding to the siege in which DEI has been under, the siege in which affirmative action policies, the siege
I think
in
he
which
forgot to cancel
immigrants have been under. So I'm assuming that that's what he means under this administration. Let's stay apolitical and let's just dive right at the heart of the matter. The cost of freedom for having that day off is the realization that white, black, everything in between, as a country, we really don't understand what Juneteenth is. And maybe if we did, there would be less random dialogue about the meaning or meaningless aspects of Juneteenth. Because if you think about it, it just shows, like, back when in 1865, when Juneteenth was essentially created, right? When Union soldiers got to Texas, Galveston, Texas, and had to inform people that y'all free on the heels of Emancipation Proclamation in 1862, 2.5 years later, two plus years later, right? They didn't have Instagram where you could just get the notification that you're free. So the news had to get there, but
there was no email or text message.
There's no email, right? But I dare say that there are still people that might not know they're free.
Oh, hope y'all don't have lunch plans. We talk about this all day.
Yeah. Let's not get too far into it. Let's talk about the holiday itself before we move on. There are different school districts. Some acknowledge them, some don't. In corporate America, some acknowledge it, some don't.
We're out of school up here, so I don't know. You guys still in school down there? Up there?
We're still in some. Yeah. Most of the public schools are still in school, but they have half days today. Some corporations gave today off in celebration of Juneteenth, but there's really no universal.
In practical, that makes more sense, right? Give me Friday. Let me get Friday. Let me hold something. Thursday is interesting.
I think, yes, practically it makes more sense, but from an information, an awareness, historical perspective, and to force this country to finally have the damn conversation that we don't want to have. Slavery was not the boogeyman. It existed. The Emancipation Proclamation, while a phenomenal historical moment in this country, effectively still didn't end slavery because culturally we were still looked at, Black people, as chattel, which is why it took 1865 for them to know that they were free in Galveston. And I think in Texas, Galveston being the city. But we have to have the conversation. And I think the more that we make it convenient to call it a holiday, but not say on the actual holiday, Juneteenth is when we're going to celebrate, acknowledge, discuss, the more that we're kicking the can down the road. And that's my little 2 cents on it. I'll give you last word on it before we move on, man, because it's
always, just when I heard about it, the first time I heard about it, because, I find everything funny. I was like, wait a minute, what? We celebrating what? But I still do have mixed emotions. Sorry, I'm just forwarding this link on for our show to another group. Sorry for looking down. But I feel like I just have mixed emotions about the holiday. Like, wait a minute. So these people didn't know that slavery was over. It's almost like a facepalm holiday sometimes when you think about it. Like 2 years later, they still held them down and there was nothing that could be done about it. Nobody could go, like, how did that work? You know what I mean? Slavery's abolished. We're just going to keep slaves and just let it ride. I don't know. I saw a big thing about how Mexico, that's why Texas got away from Mexico, because Mexico got rid of slavery before anywhere else. All kind of stuff. This is a family show. Let's
hop in.
Let's go. Let's start getting hot. Let's start getting hot.
I think the cost of freedom when it comes to both the holiday being finally acknowledged as a holiday and the cost of freedom in terms of the information, if you look at corporations and school districts that struggle with whether or not they want to celebrate Juneteenth, I think the cost of freedom in this case, freedom being the day off, is a realization that historically we really struggle with discussing what slavery was in this country, its role, and how it built a lot of the foundation of capitalism, and how we still are trying to avoid the ripple effects that continue to impact individuals and societies and families. The cost of freedom in this case is a realization that we still have work to do. The other cost of freedom that I had to face yesterday is I dropped my boy off, man. Deuce went to his first live period, and man, it was tough. It was tough, man. It was, a situation where we drive out to the school, drop my boy off, and I tried to tell myself I wouldn't get emotional, but knowing that he would not sleep in his bed, I'm calling it his bed, the one that has been his bed since he was, as long as I can remember. Never
For
seen
those of you culturally don't know, in black people's house, you don't know nothing. You don't own shit. Your
you
bed
like I
sheet,
qualified that. I don't want him to hear this and then be like, "You told me that it wasn't nothing in
it
here
ain't your
mine. Now
bed.
you just called it
You
my
don't own
bed.
anything in a black man's house. Nothing.
The bed that we allow him to
Like
sleep
to
in.
sleep in.
It ain't his. It's mine.
It's not yours. It's
But
terrible.
he
It's
would
terrible
not
to
be
care to
sleeping in
clarify.
said bed. It made me emotional. And for someone who has not one, but both of their children out of the house, there is a cost of freedom for us empty nesters. The emotions of not having your child in that bed and waking up and eating breakfast with you. The emotions of like the programming today. I normally will wake up, go work out, and come back for the show. He's not here. I'm not taking him to a workout. I got another son, so
We
I still got
still ain't start the show till it. Well, okay. What'd you say?
yeah, I know. But it was before noon, so it was still a morning show. Eastern time. It was before noon. So I ask you, man, the cost of freedom when it comes to being an empty nester. The psychological warfare of not having your child sleep in that room. Right? The confusion as to what do I do with my time. There's a psychological cost of freedom that is the empty nester that we all need to be prepared for. I am warning those of you who are out there who are close to the point of dropping your kids off at a college, or for me, off at a boarding school. Damn, I didn't know I was going to get that emotional. Walk me off the plank, man. Let me know it's going to be better. Help me feel better about me, because today, after dropping my son off, I feel inadequate as a parent. I just went and dropped my son off at somebody else's doggone campus. He's out of my care. I can't protect him. Help me to help myself. Is the cost of freedom, the psychological warfare that I'm going through, is there a happy ending to this, my brother?
I think when you raise the kids from young. I was at a friend's house last night. Her grandson was running around like he had no sense the whole time. By 1 year old, cuteness. And I'm just thinking to myself while I'm watching him, like, man, when I had my son was this age, who would have known? You all want, you dream about the days that we have today, but
yeah. Soon
you
you're gonna be
can't.
out my house.
You can't predict it. I'm 52 years old. I've been out of my parents' house longer than I was in it by a lot. Right?
You at least 67. I'm talking about 52, but go ahead.
I'm on a diet. I'm on a birthday diet right now. So I'm only 50. I'm down to 52. But you know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, like, I have been an adult most of the time. I've been my parents' child, right?
Yeah.
Most of the time. Like, It was a brief period that they raised me. You know what I mean?
Did a good job too. Did a good job.
You know what? I'm still on this side of prison. So, you know what I'm saying? They did okay. They could have done worse. But you know what I mean? Like, that's what you look at. And I'm an overthinker for those of you that know me. So I look deep into everything. I just say lean into the pain.
Yeah.
Bottle those tears and sell them. And sell them on the thing for $100. Tears of joy. Because it's going to be somebody who's going to come and try to splash on their head, because I just look at and we don't want to compare accomplishments of children, and we don't want to do that. And I'm not trying to be in that situation, but I will say this, that I know of people whose their dreams for their children are not being fulfilled. The kids are at home, not for good reasons, or the kids are doing something that they're not proud of. And I'm not saying your kid has to go to some sort of camp or has to go play sports.
That sounds like the cost of never having freedom, that they're going to be parasites. They're going to be there.
I see it every year on Facebook. I see somebody saying, this is before my kids were even in school, in college, and saying, oh, I can't take it. I'm not ready. They're leaving. I'm not okay, whatever. And I just said, and I always post this. Right now, there's someone who's reading this post who's thinking about what you're sad about, and they have somebody at the house who ain't doing the damn, and they're wondering if they're ever going to do it. Some grown ass person that's not contributing to society, and they're wishing that person did it. So I say lean into the pain, my friend, because right now there's a guy who had a dream of his kid being some sort of an athlete or do whatever, who doesn't have the opportunities that your son has to do whatever. And I'm not saying like you're whining or anything on that. I'm just saying like that. Like, when I dropped my baby girl off, my wife was so mad at me because I didn't cry. And the reason why I didn't cry isn't because I don't miss my baby girl, man. I called her, texted her the other day. I said, man, I need to hear your voice. Please call me. I just want to hear what your voice sounds like. And she was like, man, you know what I mean? Part of that, I want to make sure that the man in her life treats her the same way I treat her. Part of it is that, like, man, I miss hearing my daughter speak. You know, it's weird. And but at the same time, it's like, in my mind, how can I cry? I didn't cry when I dropped my son off. I didn't cry when I dropped my daughter off. How can I cry when they're doing what we wanted to do? So I'm so excited for them. I'm so happy about what's going on. Like, how can I cry? Not that you shouldn't.
Me I'm a punk ass for having shared tears.
Nah, I'm not. I'm just trying to reform how you look at it. Like, this is so fucking now. This crazy, you know. If you win a championship, you cry when you win a championship. So I'm not. There's many tears and stuff. Sometimes the food's so good you cry. You know what I'm saying?
I've never done that. But go ahead.
For food, yeah. Sometimes
I'm not a lineman though, so yeah, I've never.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't swing on me. I'm in a weird form today. I'm gonna get you if you swing on me again. She won. But I'm just saying, like, man, your son is doing something that's so fucking amazing right now that there's not many people. Your son was at the Nike Top 100 camp. My math is not always good, but I assume that all but 100 kids didn't make it, right? There's only all but 100.
Fair.
And everybody, you know what? Like, when we were little, all we had was like little, you know, the little magazines. Field and Stream had a little magazine joint. You try to put your name in there, whatever.
Street magazine, remember that?
Yeah, Street Smith, you know.
That's so old school.
Yeah, all the shit you used to read it. Parade magazine. You want to see the All-American. No one even knows what Parade magazine is, but you want to see who made the All-American list. Nowadays, these kids are. I'm on Instagram or X, and I see, like, this kid, some kid I knew growing up, you know, since he was a baby, you know, he's dropping it off there. People watching the videos. I'm a grown man, so I'm proud. There's somebody else who's young and wishing, what I had to do to get in that camp. There's some kid that's saying, man, Dad, let's go shoot. Let's go get shots up, man. I want to make this camp.
Yeah.
I want to go do this. So wherever your son is right now, whatever he's doing right now is so amazing. It's so rare. It's such a small percentile that you can't even really measure it of the people that are out there. I'm so proud of them. Just bottle those tears, man, for you have bad days that you could take a shot of them tears of joy. There's probably some sort of serotonin in there or something that'll get you right. So lean into that shit, brother.
Yeah, our kids are really, you know, our most precious assets on the planet. So I did share on Instagram that my emotions, I was saddened. We're pulling away. And, you know, the cost of freedom now is, you know, I put him in a position where, and then we'll move on. I put him in a position where it's a great coach. This guy is, you know, he coaches for USA Basketball, got a great reputation. He's built pros. So the cost of freedom, when you put him in those type of situations, is also, as the original coach, the original trainer. I'm the original sports psychologist. I'm the original trainer to get him back on the field. But now that he is in a position that we have navigated such that he is in great hands, the cost of that freedom is for me to shut the fuck up. I got to sit back.
End the show on that. Let's go.
I know you never heard me say that. But I got to sit back, hope, trust, and pray that he's done all that he needs to do, that we've got him prepared, that he's mature, he's going to handle himself, that he's going to stay prayed up. And I ended the post with just Philippians 4:13. I've always told my son that scripture says all things. So when you miss a shot, all things, you can punt, you know, get back and make the next shot, or all things. You have a bad practice, you know, come back the next practice. You have a bad week, come back. You have a bad season, come back, all things. So now that the cost of putting him in a good position is to sit back and STFU. So did want to hop in though, because what we're not going to do is STFU about this doggone NBA Finals we got right now. Everybody and their mama wanted to put their money on OKC. The question wasn't whether or not OKC would win. The question when we had the matchup was whether or not OKC would sweep the Indiana Pacers. The entire country believed it unless you lived in the area code 317. The entire NBA believed it unless you were on that Pacers roster. And now what we have is America.
574.
America. You have to acknowledge that we were wrong. These Indiana Pacers, this particular star that wears the title of overrated, this coach that came out to many men, Coach Rick Carlisle came out to 50 Cent many men. I say, boy, they own them. This group has earned themselves the famous best words in all of sports. We are going to Game 7.
Let's go.
We're going to Game 7.
Let's go, because I don't have shit else to do.
None of us do.
Nothing else to do. Man.
Has been that we have not been entertained, right? But what we did not get is an elimination. We're going to Game 7. It was a blowout. Initially, OKC jumps out on Indiana. They bounce back quickly, and they dominate the rest of the game. At one point, they were up 30. I think the final score difference was 17. I think it's the fourth highest point differential to force a Game 7. Arbitrary stat, I know, but I share it anyway. And we're going back to Oklahoma City for a Game 7.
When?
On Sunday night, 8 p.m.
They're making us wait. I ain't doing no Saturday. Let's do a Saturday.
Just play it Saturday. Do you think that this Indiana Pacers team has enough in their tank to win on the road against a team that has been pretty freaking unstoppable at home all season?
Man, I don't know. Something about it's not about Indiana. It's about OKC to me. It's not about Indiana. No disrespect to Indiana. Indiana comes the same way every time, and sometimes they come up short. I don't like, and I'll admit, last night I didn't watch all of the game because I was at a friend's house. And
you were in good company. Viewership has been down, but go ahead.
I didn't watch all the game, but I watched pieces. I don't like the way Oklahoma behaves when they're losing. There's so much quitting that team. They can front run and get up hot and stay on top. I don't see a lot of quitting Indiana. Indiana comes back. I mean, they've been fighting back. I see this. I'm going to go ahead and say I think Indiana's going to come back and is going to win. And I don't want them to. I hate to say it. I think Halliburton will hit a buzzer beater to win the whole thing. I just see it. That's just the way things are lining up. Because I think that what's going to happen is
first of all, Halliburton hits a shot to win the game. His dad is going to be on that floor, and he's probably, like you, in terms of freedom, going to have some interesting decisions about taking his undergarments off.
Man, son has bail money
himself because he is going to be on top of the world. You call me overrated. And look what we did. Look what we did. I don't know if that is the case. I think we're going to be in for a phenomenal Game 7. What I do want to bring up is shout out to my man Raheem. That's why I put that up, man. He was talking about Juneteenth, saying that we all, most of us, just learned it the last 4 years. But I wanted to put that up because he is someone who I'm happy that he joined us, man. Anytime we even have like new or newer guests in our live audience, I just want to shout out to y'all, man. I'll tell everybody, please like, comment, share, tag a friend, tag a foe, tag anyone that you know, and subscribe to the YouTube channel and the podcast. Always love to see new people in the room, and absolutely love to see when one of our newer audience members posts a comment.
Go ahead,
my bad.
I have a problem. I love to watch body language. You know what I mean? Like you watch the baskets go in or whatever. I like to watch away from the ball. And I see so much with SJ and SJ that like it's not like he doesn't have that grit, man. Like when things are going bad, I just feel like so many times where he's taking that extra step and just waiting to jog down the court and hope that the defense stops him. He's not, you know, when I look at Halliburton late in the game, this is probably game game 4-ish, 3 or
Mhm.
4-ish. They one of the games where they blew out OKC, and it's late in the game, and Halliburton is flying to go get a steal, and the game's already under control. That's message sending. Let's let you know I'm not tired, man. I don't care if the game is over. I'm doing whatever. Flip that, and you see how SGA plays, and when they're losing, he starts making real lazy passes, and when they steal the ball, he just slumps there and runs down the court. I hate that shit, man. I have a hard time with that, man.
So you think the grit is going to get Indiana over the hump to win
Indiana
game 7?
plays every game is played the same. Even when they got beat, they're still playing and they're still scrapping and fighting. And when you think you got them put away, they make a little run, then you pull away more. You make, even though it's not their night. When it's not Oklahoma City's night, man, terrible. What's the dude's name? Number 8.
Jay Will. I'm bad with numbers. Jalen
He's the
Williams.
only one. He's the only one
I'm
on
bad
that
with
team
numbers.
to me. That's savage. He's the only one out there on the whole team that's a savage. Like
I ask you
mentality.
this. I ask you this because you and I, like, we love sports, right? We do this. Sports business and entertainment, that connection, that combination to us drives us such that we've been doing this for several years, providing this great content on a Friday as the Ball Hawk Sports Talk crew, right? But I ask you this because you didn't watch the whole game yesterday, and you're in great company. We have been dying to be free of the, bear with me here, of the dependency and being linked when we come to the NBA Finals to, like, let's say, LeBron James. He had a stranglehold on the finals for 10 years. He had a 10-year run. We have been dying to be free of the dependency of the teams that have dynasties like Golden State. We've been dying to be free of the dependency on teams repeating. So the Celtics losing this year gave people sort of a sigh of relief that we wouldn't have another dynasty start. And now we've got these two mid-market teams. And it is very generous to call OKC and Indiana's, I would call Indianapolis a mid-market city.
Yeah.
But it's very generous to call OKC.
That's small market.
It's a small market. Nobody would go there unless they had a court date.
Lost.
Right? Like, unless you were arrested for not going. You ain't just voluntarily.
You're on your way. Oklahoma City is one of those places that you go to on your way somewhere.
On your way somewhere.
I heard they got clean bathrooms. We're going to stop.
Let's stop here.
Stop here.
So now we've got this. Middle America cried for it. We talk about it in elections, how there's coastal bias, but the heart and soul of America and rural America, we've got it, and the viewership is tanking. Now, there is an evolution of how we consume sport. So there's that component to it. But these numbers are down drastically. What we did, the cost of freedom, and having these two mid-market teams, that we've shown the bias, and the viewership, I think, is negatively been impacted by it. Now, any game 7 normally creates a spike in Ball Hawk Sports Talk with sports business and entertainment, at least a 65% spike in viewership. So Sunday is probably going to be the highest from a viewership rating standpoint that we would get for this NBA Finals. But is the cost of freedom, being free of the LeBron James stranglehold on the final, being free of the dynasty that is the Golden State Warriors, being free of these big market teams that could create the next dynasty, a la the Celtics, is the cost worth it? Because no one seems to be watching. And it's been great basketball. It's been 6 phenomenal games. Even in the blowout, there have been these subplots, these storylines in the games. And like you talked about, these two teams are playing high pace. These are the young up-and-coming stars. They have very deep benches. The coaching has been phenomenal. You got this young coach at OKC, a veteran in Indiana. There's some great storylines in here that people just haven't watched. And so it's the cost of freedom from those things, the strangleholds that the status quo players have had on the NBA. Is it worth it?
I think we're it's tough right now. Overall, basketball enthusiasts, like people who really like it, this is good for basketball to show that it doesn't have to be the big market. I'm one of those guys that hate the Yankees because they paid for everything, they get everybody, and then when they lose, I'm happy they lose because they killed the salary cap back
New
in the
York
day.
is
Just
all those haters, but I got you. That's
yeah, hater. Yeah, I hate him right here. Dallas Cowboys hate them, whatever. You kind of hate to see the stuff on top. Like, I'm one of those dudes that if I didn't go to Notre Dame, I loved it when I was a kid. But you know what I'm saying? Right. They fit the bill of a team that like you can hate, right. But I'm cool, Joy.
Basketball, Notre Dame football, yeah, New York.
Yeah, you try to get tired of that. So everyone likes this. There's a lot of people like to see the little guy win. Now, is that going to make them watch on Juneteenth when they're out there celebrating Juneteenth? They're going to watch the game, and it looks like it should be out of the picture. No, but I blame that more on the lack of star power that they have on either team. There's nobody on that. There's not a single person on either team that's a household name, right?
Even with SGA getting MVP, you wouldn't call him a household name?
The least known MVP in the last 15, 20 years. I can't think of a guy who's less popular than him. I just Googled where he went to college just now. I just found out he went to Kentucky. I didn't know.
You didn't know he went to Kentucky?
I didn't know. I've never heard of him. Honestly. I think I'm more than a casual fan, but I just didn't know who he was. Like, he's just not a big name. And if I don't know who he is, there's a lot of people out there who like, I don't know who this dude is. He's just not a guy. He's not the Joker. He doesn't have a good name. His nickname is trash. I mean, it's just his initials. It's trash. Like, it's nothing about it that so anyway,
I'm posting all of these now. Go ahead. I ain't mean to throw you off.
I just thought we're not talking about that anymore. So
anyway, I forgot to post them earlier. So for those who are not watching live and listening to audio, I'm just posting all of these.
We're talking basketball. He's going back to the Juneteenth thing, and it's throwing me off because I usually read the comments to see how they go.
I'm sorry,
and he won't stop doing it. So anyway, at the end of the day, there's just not enough. There's you have the Joker in there. That you have what's big light skin from the Celtics? Tatum. Tatum is a big star in there. You kind of need star power. I think that shows the beauty of how the NBA is that the stars are fishing. They're all on the same fishing trip right now. And
so it might be too costly then. We get mad when we think
it's costly, but in the long run, I think it's costly. The thing is, it makes more stars. So if FGA wins this MVP, he does it, gets his marketing team behind him, he becomes more of a household name. He gets a bigger personality.
How much more of a household name can you be when you're playing in OKC?
It's tough. I mean, when you think about who OKC used to have, and it takes this guy to potentially win it, when they had at one time Harden, Durant, and Westbrook. Can you think about how crazy that sounds?
Yeah, all three of them. And they're early.
And Harden didn't even start. Harden didn't even start.
Yeah.
He was the 6th man of the year. And they, I went down to a game. It was a great time. I went down to a game down there. I had a friend that was a newscaster down there that I went to high school with. I was down there for business, and we went to a game. It was a great time. I don't know. I think this is good basketball. I mean, we're going to a game 7. That's what you want. It's been good playoffs. It just lacks the star power. We're kind of in a we're spot right now because you still have
a comment that's relevant to what you're saying. That's fun.
Thing. I stopped reading. So I think we're in a weird spot in basketball that's going to kind of clean itself up. We're kind of in a changing of the guard. You still got LeBron hanging out. They're still talking about free agency, and KD's still involved at 37. He's still a big name in free agency. Steph Curry's getting a little older. You're starting to get a lot of these people that are hanging on, and then we got the new stars. So there's a little fight. Guys like me who are still LeBron guys get frustrated when he gets knocked out the playoffs. I liked Golden State when they were doing it, so they're out there, whatever. I've never been a huge KD fan, but they're irrelevant. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's a weird time for basketball because there's so many great players. I saw a guy who was hating on Jordan earlier, and he was like talking about some of the statistics. And when Jordan was in there and he led the league in scoring, all the other leading scorers in the NBA were big men, right? So he was like the first guy. He was the only guard, the only skill guy that was out there. Called skill guy, probably a bad term for basketball, but he was the only
Wing, right?
Guard wing that was doing anything significant. Now there's so many of them. It's almost too fragmented. It's almost kind of like a presidential race where there's too many candidates and the vote's too split up. So there's, Ant-Man. So many people love Ant-Man. So many people, love Tatum. So many people love Brown. So many people love, there's still people who are Kyrie fans and, hold on to him.
Like a scoring combo guard is dime a dozen.
There's so many superstar, unbelievable Jordan-esque. When I say Jordan-esque, it's high-flying, crazy moves in the air, unbelievable shot, finish at the rim. There's so many of those guys in the NBA right now. It's unbelievable. So it's hard when you don't have a guy that is of the top household name guys. Again, obviously basketball, he's an MVP.
Doesn't that make us, though, as a country, and I'll move on, just quick response to it. Man, that makes us lazy as a sports fandom, though, man, because OKC had one of the best seasons of all time. SGA, statistically, and as an MVP, you could put up his stats against almost any MVP. I mean, of all time. And yet, and these games have been phenomenal. You look at the viewership and you're like, damn, people figuring out other things to do. People working on their sprinklers. People getting they perm right. I don't know what they doing, but they not watching this NBA Finals, and it's shocking to me. And maybe I'm being lazy by explaining it away outside the technological changes and the evolution of how we consume sports. Maybe I'm being lazy, but it just seems like because we got this middle of America representation, two very average size markets with one very under average size market being one of the two in OKC. America just don't want to see that bullshit. And that's crazy because what we think of as bullshit is just because they're two teams that are off the beaten path has resulted in some phenomenal freaking basketball. But Game 7, 65% spike on average in terms of viewership. Wherever you go, whatever you plan to do on Sunday, cut it out. If you want Middle America, if you're sick and tired of these conspiracy theories, thinking that the NFL and the NBA influence the power structure such that big city teams are favored, then you need to tune in, because if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. Find a way to tune in on Sunday, have the viewership numbers skyrocketed, and then maybe we can get back to our regularly scheduled program of letting the competition and the parity play itself out, and even middle market, small market teams can go on to be in the finals or the Super Bowl. And it doesn't hurt commerce. Right now, it's hurting their pockets.
Well, you made a statement earlier that I actually disagree with a lot. You said that people are tired of dynasties and they don't want to see the dynasty, whatever. Don't we, though? Don't we want to see greatness?
People are tired of dynasties. Maybe I should be more specific. There has been ad nauseum conversations about how, man, I'm tired of seeing the same two teams when Golden State was almost guaranteed to have a spot. You look at the AFC Conference Championship and you hear people in football, I'm tired of seeing Kansas City Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl. So maybe it's just the people
I would say that those people who said watch the game, they're liars. And I would say check the viewing. Check the viewing. I didn't want to see the Patriots win the Super Bowl, and I watched because of it. So hater is some of the biggest driver. Hate drives almost more than love, right? I want to watch these people lose.
Hate me all you want, just watch me.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Golden State going for history. Can he win a fourth or fifth championship? LeBron makes his championship again. Can this guy win a fifth? What's the storyline if he wins a fifth? Now he's tied with Kobe. Now he's going to go do this. Now blah, blah, blah.
What's the best storyline in the current finals? What would you say the best storyline, the biggest draw is sort of a subplot storyline in these finals? Pacers versus SGA. I guess if SGA
I would say
wins,
OKC, the two stars of OKC's braids are better than any hairdo on Indiana.
I was thinking if SGA wins it, and he gets MVP. He's got the triple crown or that. Like that's rarely done.
And they were asking, should number 8, because I can't remember his name, Jay Williams. If Jay Williams, should he get the MVP or should whatever? But they're searching, man. They're searching. It's the first. Starborn
wins it. You got Halliburton telling the whole world to kiss his light brown ass because the NBA peers, his peers, called him overrated. But we're searching for a storyline.
Searching. So when you say that they don't like the people like to see history. They want to go see somebody go do something no one's ever done before. That's I think whatever. So I do think people like dynasties and they like to hate them. You know, back in the day when it was the Celtics versus the Lakers when we were little kids, it was like everything else was just an excitement leading up to this great finale that we were going to go see.
Right.
You know, one of the problems with Jordan and them is that they didn't really have a common opponent in the championship. I mean, they won 6. They had Michael Jordan. But there wasn't like he didn't have a guy he was battling. You know what I mean? All those by the time Jordan started winning, he kind of came in with a changing of the guard. Everyone went the wayside, you know, and this way he went uninterrupted. It wasn't like a back and forth. Right now, it's kind of cool that there's a back and forth. Like, you know, you'd see Golden State win 1 or 2, and then they go away for a while. Then they came back and won another, you know, won another one. I like that, man. I think that's what's going on. I'm still happy with the basketball now. I'm gonna watch Sunday. Most people will watch Sunday, and I'm gonna shed a tear, not of joy. I'm gonna shed a tear when it's over because I even try to let hockey in my house.
That's what
I watched the last 3 games.
Look, Glass Bar, I want to acknowledge that statement, but I got to get to the hockey. He said small market cities basketball is hard to digest, but I will watch Game 7. I think what he means is not hard to digest in terms of like they're running different sets or they keep turning the ball over. It's hard to digest because it's just not popular.
And I don't know who to root for. I don't know if I can watch a game. I can't root for anybody. I try to root for OKC, but
root against. I don't know who to root for or who to root against in this series. And it's tough to watch a game that way, not emotionally charged one way or the other. I'm not hating on nobody, and I'm not cheering.
Like, I'll watch it, but what I won't do is like I'm not gonna have people over for the game. Like I watched the game yesterday while I was at somebody's.
So somebody call you like, "Hey, yo, man, let's get together and watch the game." Like, what? It's okay seeing in the Pacers.
I can fold laundry and watch this game. You know what I mean? Like I don't feel like I gotta put nothing on the grill, get out a nice bottle. You know what I mean? Yesterday I watched the game.
You bring out beer. You ain't bringing out a nice bottle. They come over. You bring out. Is it room temperature beer? Are you at least gonna chill?
I probably won't even drink. I ain't gonna think about it. You know, I watched the game yesterday while playing with my friend's grandson and hanging out, talking to her.
You would never do that.
The TV was over here on the left, and the baby was over here, and I'm checking. As long as I keep the score every once in a while, I got a general idea who's winning. It's cool. Left at half. This is how bad it was. Left at halftime. My wife was over there. She came home at 11. Said, "Damn, I forgot to turn the game back on." When do you ever say that? Normally, I'm driving home at halftime. Hey, we gotta go. I gotta catch the game. I came home and forgot to watch the rest of the game.
So that's just my warning. In this episode of Cost of Freedom, if we want to be free of the stranglehold that LeBron had on appearing in finals, if we want to be free,
I love LeBron. We've been free from that for a couple of seasons.
Dynasties that were created, like Golden State. You're going to find yourself watching 2 teams that you can watch with one eye while playing with somebody's grandkids. So you talked about hockey. The cost of freedom, too, is we are now that part of the year where we are free from the stranglehold that the major sports, NFL and NBA, have had on us. We're at that point. And it allowed you to discover hockey. Game 6, NHL Stanley Cup. You got Edmonton in Florida. The Canadians are finally close to getting a Canadian team to win the Stanley Cup, which hasn't happened since 1993. And what happens, Big Flow Show? You know I'm a Florida bias. I got the Florida bias. I'm a Panthers fan every time they win. So I feel like I'm disqualifying myself. You watched it in the midst of this interesting calendar when it comes to sports. What did you see? NHL
beat down
from a novice, a very low informational person when it comes to NHL. Give it to us.
So before you start trying to talk about, I'm damn near expert. I I have a friend I used to work with from Canada. He likes to text me during the games. I text him, and I'm about 2 series away from expert. I don't figure hockey out, right? So watching Florida, their stick handling is amazing. Like the possession is crazy.
Is that a verb? Not only I was gonna say a word, but
It's
you now
handles.
putting that
That's let me translate it. They're handles, stick handles,
stick
handles,
hand. I got you.
handles.
All right.
The only thing I can't figure out is when somebody's playing real well, I can't really say they're balling. So I'm like, are they pucking? They pucking.
They're pucking. They
What are they doing?
skating. They
He's
skating
a
ass.
pucker. That dude is a real pucker. That's weird, right? Because they don't have a ball. It's the only team sport with no ball, right? Is there any other team sport with no ball?
I don't think so.
I can't think of it.
I mean, if you call the little thing, yeah, I would
What
still
you
call
call
it
a
a ball.
baton? I guess you could say the relay team baton.
What's the thing everybody's playing now?
Ultimate frisbee.
No, racket sport.
It's got a ball.
No, with a P. What's the everybody's playing now?
Pickleball.
Pickleball.
What you pickle what?
Yeah, but that little thing is not a real ball. But I got you. All
Pickle
right,
what? They don't call it a hockey ball. So my point is hockey ball. Anyway, my point is, if you watch them play, even if you don't watch it, you just know sports enough, and you watch the movement. They control that. They control that stuff on defense. They don't give it up. So in hockey, you got to get the puck has to enter the blue line before the players do, or otherwise it's offsides. The same thing, kind of like in soccer, where it's offsides if you're ahead of all the defenders. So the defense gets it. They want to clear it out the blue line, so everybody has got to get out the zone. Normally, when the defense gets it, it's pretty much given that it's going to get out. Now, when you play against Florida, they're working it out. So I can appreciate the little intricacies of that. And then their shot placement it's ridiculous, man. They play great D, and they turned it into offense. So last year, I believe it was 3-0. They were up, and then I believe, I could be wrong, correct me out there, hockey enthusiasts. I believe that Oilers came back and tied up 3-3, and then they won. This time, they didn't want to make it that exciting. So Panthers are my team because you could walk to the stadium from my parents' house in Florida. So I got to find some way to just hang my hat on. So you might catch me with a hat. I don't know. Go Panthers.
There you have it. That's the cost of freedom this part of the year, when you're free of all the things that keeps you in fantasy sports and prevents you from enjoying your weekends. The cost of freedom from those things is, at this point in the year, you just got the most unsophisticated description of the NHL
Come on, man.
you could ever
I had my teeth in. I put my teeth in.
There it is. That's the cost of freedom.
I didn't shave yet, but I mean, it was not unsophisticated. But no, that's good. It was good hockey, man. How do you have a hockey parade and it's 95 degrees and muggy outside? Do you do the parade inside? I mean, you got to do something. It's too hot for a hockey parade. You're supposed to have on a winter coat for a hockey parade.
And shout out to America holding the Stanley Cup trophy away from a Canadian team for now 32 years. Last time, 1993. Old Canada. Take that. I did want, in this episode, Cost of Freedom, to get to the part of the year that we are getting into. We're leaping into this summer, where the WNBA takes center stage. And what we saw over the last several weeks when Caitlin Clark was hurt, because we just sick of Caitlin Clark. Every time we start talking about boxing,
somebody got to mention Caitlin Clark.
And that's what it is. Every time we talk about the WNBA, the very first words that come out of your mouth are Caitlin Clark. We were free of the dark cloud, the informational portal that was all Caitlin Clark. We've been free for 2 weeks. And you know what that did? The viewership numbers tanked. Caitlin Clark comes back in her first game. They played the undefeated New York Liberty, so let's give them credit because they were undefeated. This particular game on a random Saturday warranted the third highest viewership numbers ever for a WNBA game. Ever on ABC. They've had the playoffs and finals, but this was the third highest viewership numbers ever. say what you want about Caitlin Clark. And we're going to get into sort of this new role that she is now playing because everybody's taking a shot, sometimes figuratively, sometimes literally at her. Say what you want about her, but at the Ball Hog Sports Talk, it's sports, business, and entertainment. There is no doubt that she's an amazing athlete, sport. There is no doubt shooting from the logo is entertaining. And if there was any doubt about her impact on business, she stood on it. Because when she came back into the lineup, people tuned in. And that's what I think is making a lot of the players mad. We can get into the nitty-gritty of she's taking hard fouls. People are making sure that they let her know that they are not necessarily a fan when they play against her. Her teammates seem to have her back. Caitlin Clark is the gift that keeps giving for this WNBA. What do you think about the hard fouls and her team's, what I think her team's commitment to have her back?
I think what we saw in that game, from her getting knocked down, pushing the girl, then she gets up, somebody pushed her back, whatever. And then the hard foul at the end of the game is over. Her friends sending messages, whatever. I loved it. I thought, like, you know what? This is what makes you not want to watch girl sports. We want more toxic masculinity in sports, and we got what we're looking for. She's the villain now, and she don't give a shit. She's gonna come out here after taking it. She's not crying, curring up, and saying, "Oh my God, they're picking on me." She don't even want to talk about it in an interview.
If you had to compare her to an NBA great, past or present, personality-wise, how she responds to the endless media attention,
Reggie Miller,
how she moves people emotionally in terms of her fandom, love her or hate her, I guess you could say on the court, Reggie Miller in terms of her ability to shoot, her prowess to shoot and playing in Indiana, but any other NBA great that you would think of when you think of the Caitlin Clark experience?
It's hard because of skill set, so I went to Reggie, but she's not a pest like Reggie was a pest. He tried to get under your skin. She lets things ride. She doesn't whine about it. Like, you know what I mean? On the court, she's going to do whatever she's got to go do, but I don't know.
I'm giving her Larry Bird, bro. But Larry Bird, when Larry and Magic were, and we kind of alluded to it when we talked about Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese.
Nobody ever picked on Larry Bird, though.
They tried to.
Larry Bird was 6'10".
When I say pick on him, when they realized that this country-fed white boy from the Midwest wasn't no punk, they quickly backed off. But it was an era where white boys wasn't killing like that. It was now the proliferation.
No, but I don't remember people trying Larry Bird and throwing him around and stuff. That was what Reggie Miller did. You threw Reggie Miller around and he didn't give a shit, wouldn't go away. That's where I kind of felt. That's why I made that comparison. I don't think in your mind, you don't have to see why hard fouling Larry Bird and like he had to get up. Somebody had to protect Larry Bird. I don't remember that.
They tried. Kevin McHale and Robert Parrish did have to back him up sometimes.
That's the part I don't remember, and I could be wrong. I don't remember Larry Bird ever needing somebody to back him up.
He was tough. My point is that he was the target, right? Because he created so much fanfare, and maybe because he was a white guy in the mid 80s, early 90s that was in that top 5 at all times, top 10 players in the NBA at all times while he was playing. And he was surrounded, if you look at that top 10 list, with brothers. So brothers would come at him like they could easily beat out this white boy, and he just wasn't going for it. People thought I was crazy.
Larry Bird was mad if you tried to put a white guy on him. Larry Bird thought he was one of us. Period. Let's just call it, make it simple. Just consider me black and everything will be easier for you. Because he used to get so offended if you ever have a white dude covering him. It was offensive to him.
It was.
And that is hilarious to me because I can't even imagine a black dude saying not to put a white dude on him. You know what I mean? But for him to be like, don't insult me.
Yeah.
I thought that was crazy.
Larry the Legend. Caitlin Clark is indeed moving the pendulum in terms of emotional connectivity to her team, to her performances, and to this WNBA. And Scott Bibb kind of jokes like, they better be careful, don't bite the hand that feeds you, because, same thing happened with Tiger. He was, let's call him controversial while he was playing. And then as soon as he was going through his troubles and was not in those tournaments, you saw the viewership. Don't bite the hand.
I still peak for him. I still cover Tiger. If I see a game, I go through the leaderboard, see because he playing. I don't care if he's in 99th place. I'll watch.
That is the Caitlin Clark effect for the WNBA. There is no surprise that their nationally televised games have the number of national televised games in terms of Indiana Feeder are gone up significantly over the last 2 years because people want to watch it. But we saw with her in the lineup, the numbers represent. People want to see it, whether they're cheering for her or cheering against her. People want to see it. Definitely got to get into MLB because yesterday the Dodgers had to dodge the feds. Initially, it was reported that it was an ICE raid at the stadium. It is now.
We missed a good shot. We missed an opportunity for a lifetime moment. But go ahead.
It's the cost of freedom, man. Like the Dodgers, in order to be free of whatever federal raid that was, they called the local LAPD. They had these federal agents escorted off the campus ground or the stadium grounds. Bro, what are we doing in this country, man? What the hell is going on with
Trump said, I don't get the pictures. I don't give a damn how many Cy Young awards they won. Get those pictures out of here. I know there's a couple.
And take one
Albert Pujols. I don't care where you was born. I don't care how much million you had. Pujols, they coming to get you. Whoever you are. Shohei Ohtani. We're getting Asians too. They're coming. ICE.
Everybody's
1, 2. ICE is coming for you. 3, 4. Better lock your door.
You talk about the cost of freedom, boy. Hey man, I said we're gonna keep it apolitical, but shout out to the Dodgers for dodging the feds, man. They got
my better Dodger story is did you guys see the fight between the Padres and the Dodgers? I think Shohei Ohtani, they need to send him over there to Iran. They need to send him over there to Ukraine.
He's a peacekeeper.
This dude is a peacekeeper. He only need one hand. This dude. So for those who didn't see it, there was a pitcher not named Shohei Ohtani for the Dodgers that hit the Padre. He hit him solid too. When I watch those things, when someone get with that ball, it's so solid.
That baseball is not giving it.
Solid. Dude's throwing 95 miles per hour. It's like muzzle speed. So the guys get hit to the back. He comes down. They clear the benches. People get pushed around, shoved around. So now Shoney comes up to bat, and that dude gives him one. He hit him. Dude got one leg over the thing. They're about to clear the bench. He raised his hand like the Pope. One hand. Stopped it all. Everybody's cool.
That's different kind of money, baby.
That's power there. That's true power. That's true power. What? I got this. I'm straight. Don't worry about nothing. Everybody stand down. We need to send him to Iran. We need to send him to Gaza. Where are they fighting? Just have Shohei Ohtani just hold up his hand. One hand. And maybe two hands. Maybe some days we'll call two hands. But that's impressive to me.
Scary times in this world, man. So you make sure y'all keep on tuning in to Ball Hog Sports Talk. You alluded to Iran and Israel conflict, and now America could be getting involved. Like literally, we could be facing World War III.
No, Trump. Meantime, we have Trump. We have Trump. So that means it's impossible. We're gonna stop it all. Everything should happen. I don't believe the war happened.
Apolitical today, man. Apolitical.
I don't even believe the war actually is what's happening over there because Trump said it couldn't happen if he was the president.
So it must be.
It must be fake news.
Must be fake.
Fake news. There's no war going on.
But to those who are impacted, let me just say on a serious note, because there, a lot of people that are impacted by the unrest, war, depends on who you ask and what you want to call it. So our thoughts and prayers are with all of those people impacted. You're in LA, so how dare I not talk about this new valuation? The Buss family decides to move on from its majority stake in the Los Angeles Lakers on the heels of getting Luka in the building. A good investment strategy is buy low, sell. They so high as a motherfucker, man. They right after they got Luka, I could just see Jeannie now. Jeannie busting there like, we finna get up off of these doggone majority shares.
What do you buy with $20 billion though? Like what is Jeannie Buss doing tomorrow that she's not doing today? What's different?
I don't know. I mean, very fair. Once you get to the B word, you're good.
The Lakers, man. You own enough money to make you 15, 20 people work for you are multimillionaires. You got money. If you have enough money to make people that under you millionaires like that, multimillionaire, you got a billionaire on your team. You got good bread. I would sell it if I just was tired of it, but like
maybe she's tired of it.
20 billion?
No, valuation was 10 billion.
I thought it was 20 billion.
Their stake. So don't quote me on it. I just know that their stake was or valued the majority. The majority stake was valued at 10 billion. So shout out to them for getting richer. That cost of freedom, I'd be willing to pay. That might just be what they wanted as a family, to be free of the headaches and the challenges of managing a team or owning a team. And maybe they were just ready to move on. But
$10 billion.
10 billion, bro. Billion with a B.
Did you try to put a group together?
I did. I had $10 and I called some people who owed me, but none of them answered. I thought I could get to at least 1,000 if those people would have paid me back, but I'm stuck at 10 because they won't answer the phone. Caller ID, damn it.
We could have done something.
We're
gonna start. Hey, we're gonna do a GoFundMe on this.
GoFundMe?
A GoFundMe. I want to buy the Lakers.
Hey, the way we talk about sports, business, entertainment, we can really do wonders for the Lake Show. And we could do wonders for, how about the Knicks? Because we got coastal bias. So if the Lakers are going to be in the headlines, how dare the Knicks not be in the headline? The cost of freedom. The Knicks freed themselves of Tom Thibodeau, that tyrant coach who had his players tired, who did something that no coach has done in 25 years and took that New York Knicks team to the Eastern Conference Final. They are free of the burden that was Tom Thibodeau.
Give us free.
But damn, that cost of freedom was high. Because it seems as though they can't find anybody to take the job. If someone was the head coach that took to the Eastern Conference Final, that did something that no other coach has done in 25 years, do you realize how hard it is to now attract the next coach? I think that's the part the Knicks did not do a good job of valuing, is that there's a give and a take. The cost of your freedom is going to come at quite a price. And the price is nobody wants that damn job. And we are less than a week away from the NBA draft. Normally you want your coach in place so they can have a system. Ideally, they'll give you an idea of who they should draft based on said system. They are going to be a no-name brand team in the sense of having a vacancy in the head coaching position as they go into the NBA draft. That's a hell of a cost for your freedom to get rid of Tom Thibodeau.
And they had the nerve to ask teams like Miami Heat, Bulls, can we talk to your coach? No. Who do you think you are? Why? No. Why would I do that? Why would I give you my coach? Because you some bitches can't keep an unbelievable Hall of Fame basketball coach down there. Tibbs, correct. I mean, if you want to get rid of Tibbs, go ahead and get rid of him. I hope they don't get anybody. You know who they're gonna get? Monty Williams, and then they're gonna fire him, and he's gonna have 3 paychecks.
I think they're just gonna hire Brunson's dad. Rick Brunson gonna get the job. At this point,
if they do that,
hire Rick Brunson.
If they do, that's too much. Or
they've shown you they have no problem firing somebody, despite what their accomplishments are. So if it don't work out, just get rid of them. But the cost of freedom, they freed themselves of Tom Thibodeau. They freed themselves of this dark cloud that was Tom Thibodeau works his players too hard. Doesn't go deep in his rotation, so players are more prone to injury. Well, they freed themselves of that, but the cost was very, very costly.
Wait, I thought the Knicks hired a coach. Did they hire him?
They hired a coach, Tom Thibodeau, and then they fired head coach. They still do not have anyone in position.
I thought I heard that they hired somebody.
If it did, it must have happened like while I was dropping my son off. But I don't think that they have a coach, and that would be major news if they did. They haven't hired anybody. So the cost has been unbelievably high to free yourself of Tom Thibodeau and now create a vacancy and create an expectation on that seat in that vacancy such that nobody wants to touch it with a 10-foot pole. Again, Dolan and the powers that be in Madison Square Garden. As a Miami Heat fan, I couldn't be any happier. Y'all dumber than dumb. The man took it to the Eastern Conference Final. Go in there and suggest to him to maybe consider expanding the role that he gives certain players, expanding the number of people you have in the rotation, thinking about more days off. But even when you go in there, you should say it in a very suggestive manner. Instead, y'all go in and fire that man a few days after he took you to the Eastern
Maybe they did say that. He told them to kiss his fucking ass. Who knows what happened? Hey, get your ass out.
You could tell. Eastern Conference Final, which they haven't been to in 25 years, even that's not a fireable offense. Let that man tell you to kiss his ass. But you still didn't have a valuable franchise on the other coast. Lakers just showed us that majority stake is worth $10 billion, and it's winning. It's winning. Knicks.
They're saying they're going to take Mike Malone, Mike Brown. I don't know.
At this point, call Mike Jordan. Call Mike anybody.
Scottie Pippen. See, he needs an option. Scottie Pippen not doing that.
Rick Brunson getting that job, man. New York Knicks. I've seen some dumb things, especially in 2025. Especially under this. I said I was going to stay apolitical, but I got to make it. Especially under this particular administration. I done seen some dumb things. But the New York Knicks was like, hold my beer. Because the fans are in an uproar that we lost. And yeah, I know we lost 48 hours ago, so fans are going to have a knee-jerk reaction and be emotional, but we're going to make long-term decisions. Franchise-altering decisions. Because we love our fans. Y'all dumb as hell, Knicks. The cost of freedom is too costly. Now nobody wants that job. Because even if they achieve what no coach has done in 25 years, which is to take that team to the Eastern Conference Final, and truth be told, but for literally the bounce of a ball in game one and injuries, which plays into the narrative of why they should have fired him, but for what is a game of inches, you guys would have made it to the NBA Finals. The team that you scratched and fought with, they have now advanced to a game 7 in the NBA Finals. And that's the man that you fire less than a week after the damn season ends? What is the cost of freedom? Too costly. Too costly. Now, as a Miami Heat fan, let me just say, I could not be happier. I could not be happier to see you guys fumble the bag. You literally fumbled the bag. You fumbled the bag. I could not be happier to see your fans in an uproar and unrest because of something that they don't agree with from a coaching stylistic perspective. And now, because they were in such an uproar, in their Timberlands, in their bing bong statements, and their very loud bravado style. I'm from Brooklyn, B. The owners decided to fire this man, and you stink because you can't find somebody else to hire. And all the talent in the world without someone in the coaching seat that knows what they're doing ain't worth shit in the NBA. Congratulations, Knicks. You played yourself, I think is the very
You played yourself, son. Well, oh well.
yeah.
I wasn't a Knicks fan, but I was a Brunson fan. KT
You don't waste
is
that man's talent. He's in
Carl
his
Anthony
prime.
Towns is way too what they call that shit.
Hey, move
zesty.
on, man. Move on.
He way
Whatever
too
you about to
zesty
say,
for
move
me.
on. Kyrie defended him, man. That's my Jersey boy. Let's go out with
Zesty.
let's go out with the big three, man. Let's get out of here with the big three because I thought it was quite hilarious that the big three featured a fight between Dwight Howard and Lance Stevenson. Literally, like they were in a fight. And the cost of freedom, all right, is we're gonna watch the big three this summer. But man, that was entertaining. They were literally fighting in the stands. I think Dwight Howard thought Lance Stevenson was, because he's considerably smaller, was going to be an easy win, and Lance wasn't going for that bullshit. But the big three is back. Lance Stevenson is actually on the same team with your boy. What's your man's name? You said it's a silent killer?
Beasley. Beasley.
MB, Michael Beasley. I'm going to tune into the big three. Ice Cube, people said that fight was staged and this is the new WWE. I don't know, bro. Finding players that are decidedly retired or recently retired and paying them a handsome amount of money is a recipe for something brilliant. They got something going on, the big three. I will be tuned in, and I hope there are more fights. I'll give you, in this episode of The Cost of Freedom, our cost of freedom to get out of here is that we got to at least leave the fans with something. So we're going to leave our audience with something. The Ball Hog Spotlight moment is, it could be anything. Sports, business, entertainment from the week. Maybe it's even something that's just been sitting in your craw, in your stomach, gnawing at you for a while. It ain't got to be from this week. It's the Ball Hog Spotlight moment. You have the ball, the middle of the court. All eyes are on you. We are encouraging you to be a ball hog. It's your moment, your spotlight. What do you got for us?
Not a damn. Sports about to be over, for the summer. We're waiting for it. I can't wait to the fall. I mean, I'm eagerly waiting for personal reasons to see my children flourish. I think the Bears did something decent in the offseason. They might do something this year.
The who?
No. This is a team in Chicago. You probably never heard of them. But the Bears, they try to do a little something this offseason, do whatever. So this is the barbecue before the storm, right? We're gonna have a bunch of barbecues, hang out, do what we gotta do, try to enjoy this empty nest for a little while, and then crank it up and see what's going on. So I encourage you guys this summer, text me and your boy, let them know what you want us to talk about, because it's about to get slow, my friend. We're about to be in baseball season. I don't know. Unless there's more fights, I don't really know what to talk about. I don't know. There's no U.S. Is there any U.S. games or anything? Olympic? Some soccer?
You got the beginnings of World Cup. I know the U.S. men's national team is 2-0, and I can't say how to say the cup name, but
Gold Cup or something like that.
Gold Cup or something. What else is there? I've heard that hockey, the best comparison is lacrosse, not soccer, by the way. But I don't know. I think the Pro Lacrosse League is this summer. I know all the college championships, whether it be lacrosse, you had the NCAAs, track and field, you got softball. I mean, those things are ending. So
can we get an Olympics? What year is it? 2025? We can't. Divisible by sport. We can't get an Olympics or something.
My Ball Hog Spotlight moment is this. The NBA draft is coming up next Wednesday. And while the Knicks don't have a coach, we have a presumptive a presumptive number one pick who is from the Caucasian planet. He is a white brethren and Cooper Flag. It'll be the first white American-born number one draft pick in the NBA since 1977. You know what I mean? When we was riding in them Lacks, when them Chevys was big and long and they could barely, you couldn't do a three-point turn in one of them Chevys. Them Lacks were long. El Dorado, El Camino, Fleetwood, all of them was live.
Dude, he's from Maine.
He's from Maine.
What the fuck?
So, on the day that some corporations decided to celebrate Juneteenth, let me just celebrate what will be eventually on Wednesday, the first time. And I just happen to know this because I was born in that year. And 48 years, the white American-born player is the number one draft pick in these NBA. These NBAs gonna have a number one player
that can ball.
Now, I say that to say this, my white brethren. I got some cousins out there from the planet of Caucasian. I got some real people that I love and adore. We ain't one of them handshakes. We dap up. I got some former teammates. If they call me and they need something, I'm there. I'm encouraging all my brethren, my cousins, them, my teammates, my co-workers, people I dap that are white, to celebrate Cooper Flag as the first white American-born number one pick in the NBA in 48 years. Celebrate it. And then you'll understand why Juneteenth for us.
It's a big deal.
It's a big deal.
It's funny though. I gotta say, my man, welcome, Mark. We were on this whole show. Mark, I had shit to say to you. Said white dude going first in draft. Now he's talking about some what's up, fellas?
Hey, celebrate it, Mark.
Celebrate
I'm
it,
talking
Mark.
about celebrate
that shit, Mark.
Yeah. On Wednesday to celebrate. I tip my hat. Celebrate it.
Celebrate it. Yep.
Celebrate it. And I think he's gonna be quite the player. Enjoy Game 7 on Sunday. But as we started the show, and I gave the anecdote about my son, and I talked about the cost of freedom when it comes to becoming an empty nester. I leave on these terms. While I was saddened to drop my son off, like you said, focus on the positives. I see my man Raheem asked where. He's going to Blair Academy, which is a boarding school. And I will celebrate the fact that I got him to this point where he's mature enough that he feels independent, such to be in a boarding school. I think he's going to do very well there on and off all of the sporting canvases. He'll do well there. It reminds me to encourage you and challenge you. That cost of freedom. We all want to be empty nesters. We all want to see our kids leave the nest. It's going to make you emotional. So right now, today, go hug your kids. Love them. Talk about the conflicts in the world and maybe even freaking World War III is right around the corner. The people that matter most are in your home. Love the hell out of them. Your impact on this world is largely reflected in your impact on the people who you love and who love you. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy your kids. Love them. Hug them. Because the chapter in which we are mom, dad, and they look to us for all answers and solution is quickly coming to an end for all of us. So make sure it's a good chapter, and that could be your best impact on this world. Fair enough, Big Flow Show?
Fair enough, Church.
Enjoy Game 7 on Sunday, y'all. This was the Cost of Freedom episode of the Ball Hog Sports Talk. Your boy, the Big Flow Show, came to you from the Middle Coast. I am your boy, B Brown, ESQ, a.k.a. the Ball Hog, a.k.a. the Mouth South, a.k.a. Mr. Person, a.k.a. Breezy, a.k.a. Coach Bobby, a.k.a. Councilman Brown, a.k.a. someone that is forever indebted for your continued support. Please like, comment, share, tag a friend, tag a foe, tag anyone that you know, and please subscribe to the YouTube channel and the podcast. It's the Ball Hog Sports Talk, where sports, business, and entertainment collide. We do it one way and one way only. That's rough, rugged, and raw. This has been the Cost of Freedom episode of the Ball Hog Sports Talk. It's yours to keep, but make sure you share it with somebody else because it's good stuff, y'all. With that, with no further ado, boys and girls, dogs and frogs, cats and rats, and anything and everything in between, we is out. Enjoy your weekend, y'all. Happy Juneteenth. Peace.